A lot of men right now act like women, and they just want more. Bring back the patriarchy. I want to stay at home. I want to take care of my kids. What do you mean buy you flowers? What do you mean pay for dinner? What do you mean 50-50? What is that? I don't believe in that.
What do you want? What do you believe?
I want a man to take care of me.
So you want to be a housewife?
I want to be a housewife.
Okay.
Yeah.
The old traditional way?
Traditional. I'll do it. I don't mind. I'll do it. Fuck it.
All right, let's say you meet the guy that does all that. Like, he's willing to take you in, and you basically be the woman to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Now, does he got complete control over you? Like saying, like, all right, delete your Instagram. You can't be dressing all slutty out on the streets.
Here's my thing. I'm not gonna be dressing all slutty and like having Instagram. If I found the one and he gives me everything I need, he doesn't even have to ask me for that. I already did it.
I like this one.
You'll delete it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Without him even having to ask.
What about he wants to every time?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 100%.
Ain't it funny how when women make their own money and all of a sudden they feel like they don't have to fulfill those traditional roles anymore because they make their own money, and once they start to realize that you're offering less and demanding more of men, and because men are waking up and deciding, okay, well, you're asking more of me but offering less, so in return I'm gonna demand more of you. And now you got women over here saying that men are acting like women just because they're demanding more.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Ron back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. Now, outside of that, I can pretty much agree with everything else the young lady said. But it's a little bit too late for that, and she's not going to be too happy if she were to see this next clip that I'm going to show you guys. And then after that, I'm going to be showing you another clip of a fellow that I reacted to before, and it's pretty long. All right, so pause. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
How do we destroy the family? By destroying the American patriarch. Well, this might shock you, because I also thought the same for a very, very long time, that the people who created feminism actually were nice people who wanted the best for everyone and just wanted equality. Okay, here's what really happened. So Kate Millett, she was an American feminist, author, and artist. She is the founder of the National Organization for Women. Her sister, Mallory, was invited to one of the first meetings that established the National Organization for Women. So this is a feminist group that has been around since the start of the feminist movement, and they basically pioneered the whole movement. At this meeting, they gathered around a large table with Kate Millett, the chairperson, and she opened the meeting with the following back and forth recitation. So this is how the beginning of the meeting went. Why are we here today, she asked. To make revolution, they answered. What kind of revolution? The cultural revolution. How do we make cultural revolution? By destroying the American family. How do we destroy the family? By destroying the American patriarch. And how do we destroy the American patriarch? By taking away his power. And how do we do that? By destroying monogamy. And how do we destroy monogamy? By promoting promiscuity, eroticism, prostitution, and homosexuality.
Come on.
So this proceeded with a long discussion on how to advance these goals by establishing the National Organization of Women. Leader's sister says, it was clear they desired nothing less than the utter deconstruction of Western society.
There you go, ladies. Y'all still want to point the finger at men? Y'all still want to blame us? Cause based on what beans she just spilled, that had absolutely nothing to do with us. That was a National Organization of Women's meeting. That was a meeting for y'all and only with y'all involved. And that was the motive. That's what y'all did. That's what y'all did, bro. And y'all fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And look where we at now. Look where we at now. Think about what's being pushed on the radio more than ever. Think about all the female rappers that you see on the radio now. All the female empowerment. I've said this before, you guys. Women are more susceptible to influence culture changes, propaganda, they're more likely to be coerced and fooled by this than men. This is the reason why they're trying to weaken the men, so that way we can't get to the, if you do that while simultaneously promoting this promiscuity, you get the kind of the dating culture that you get in the West, where you have men that are trying to do right and trying to tell these women, look, this ain't working. And these women are like, no, I'm liberated and I want to be a 304 in my 20s. And then when they get in their late 20s and early 30s and then don't nobody want to take them seriously, what do? They point the finger at the man. They blame the patriarchy, whatever the case may be. And the men that tried to pre-warn you, guys like myself and other guys in this space, all that we try to show and tell y'all, all that's gonna completely go over your head, and y'all gonna treat it like it went through one ear and out the other. And it's just sad. And you can tell they're indoctrinated, because whenever we present facts, studies, articles, and stuff like this, they still want to live in that delusion. They still want to be in denial. That's why it's starting to get, it's going to get to a point now where people are just going to have to separate, because nobody wants to cooperate. Yeah, I know y'all like that rhyme, right? All right, so next clip I'm going to play for you guys, man. This is a very, very long clip. It's almost like 10 minutes long. I'm just going to let it ride out, all right? Because this guy is going to bring back home a lot of stuff that you just seen in the first two clips. All right, so let's go ahead and keep it moving.
Okay, wait till you see this.
Most women want to have a career.
Well, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that for a second. You're telling me what you've been told and what you've been told to believe, not what you actually believe and not what's actually the case. No, I don't believe for a second that most women want to work and most women want to have a career. That's PR, that's propaganda. I mean, you can't say honestly that you think that most women want to work and also say that women have equal intelligence as men, because if they have equal intelligence as men, what intelligent person would choose to work if they had a choice not to? I know a man wouldn't, if given the choice. No, I know that most women don't want to work. I don't need to see the statistics. I know that most women don't want to work because I work. So I know what it's like. No, you can only convince a woman or anyone else that it's wonderful. It's just so fulfilling to dress up in business clothes and go to an office all day if they've never worked. You can maybe sell that message to young, inexperienced people, but anyone who has been in the workforce for any length of time will tell you it is not exactly living the dream. But you know who is living the dream? You know who really is living the dream? Married women in Dubai, married women in Saudi Arabia. And not just because they get to go on shopping sprees with their husbands, gold credit cards, but because due to the fact that they have so much support from their family, so much support from their husbands, so much support from their fathers, so much support from what you would call patriarchy. You probably didn't know that women in the UAE and women in Saudi Arabia own a higher percentage of small and medium-sized businesses than women in America, by at least 10%.
Wait a second. So you mean to tell me all these women over here in the Middle East are pretty much housewives, but they own more businesses than the women in the West by 10%, and y'all over here working and slaving like men?
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Yeah. Y'all. Yeah. I'm sorry, ladies, man. Y'all got finessed. Damn, y'all got finessed.
That's ownership. That's entrepreneurship, not employeeship. But of course, they're oppressed, right? No, most people don't want to work. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. And there are people who can, genuinely derive a lot of satisfaction from their work. But we all know that they could find infinite other ways to achieve that and better than that level of satisfaction if they weren't wage slaves and had control of their time. Should women have the right to work? You understand what incredibly deceptive language that is? In your society, do they have the right not to work? That's a better question. I mean, look at how they manipulate language around this issue. Instead of just saying you have to work, they say that you have a career or you have a job, as if it's something that you've gained, as if it's something, something that you have, rather than talking about all the things that you lose by having that, all of the things that you have to let go in order to keep hold of that job. They say you have a career, but what they mean is your employer has you. And that's where you spend most of your time. That's where you spend, most of your waking hours, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, plus however long it takes you to commute. So maybe up to around half of a 24-hour day, you are either going to work, at work, or coming home from work. And then you get, if you're lucky, maybe 4 to 5 hours a day off, 4 to 5 hours a day left of free time. Look at that phrase, free time. Because, yes, in your free, democratic, liberated, independent country, most citizens only get about 4 to 5 hours a day of freedom. Because the rest of the time, you're at work. And work is extremely not democratic, not free, and you have no independence. You do what you're told. You wear what you're told. You eat when they let you. Your time is not your own. In some places, you even have to ask permission to use the restroom. So most of your waking hours are actually spent in a thoroughly totalitarian environment, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And you get maybe 4 to 5 hours a day of freedom. And you're telling me that women want that? No. The system wants that for women. And it has made it largely unavoidable because the cost of living is too high. Or anyway, the cost of supporting the lifestyle and maintaining the lifestyle that your society teaches you that you must have if you are to be regarded as a worthwhile and successful human being. They made it necessary for women to work. And human beings have a great capacity to convince themselves that they are actually in favor of things that have been imposed upon them. So they tell themselves that they actually want the thing that they have no choice but to accept. Then, of course, on top of that, you have all this propaganda about how wonderful and how fulfilling it is to sell your time and your labor to an employer, to rent yourself out to your employer. And you have people, excuse me, but like yourself, spreading the propaganda. It's no different really from, how you have women in human trafficking networks, women who procure women for the traffickers. It's basically the same thing. It's just different in the severity of the consequences. But both types of people are lying and making false promises about the servitude and drudgery that they are actually dragging women into on the basis of, promises of how wonderful it's going to be and how much they deserve all of the great things that are going to come to you if you listen to me and do what I said. But actually, you're just going to become a wage slave. Just like in a human trafficking thing, you're going to become an actual slave. And it's the same for everybody. I mean, if you could actually remove from the workforce everyone who does not genuinely find fulfillment and satisfaction from their job, you would have extremely few workers left of either sex.
Facts.
Men find fulfillment usually not from the work itself. Most of the time, it's not from the work itself, but it's from the fact that they are successfully providing for their families.
Facts.
So they sell their souls to the company store, as the old song says, for the sake of their loved ones. And they find some level of gratification from that, and it gives them a sense of purpose, even doing the most, mundane, difficult, and tedious work.
It's what we built for.
And there's honor in that because it involves a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that you do for your family. But no, most women don't want to work because, of course, they don't. Most people don't want to work. Right. So, think it through. There are exceptions, but exceptions notwithstanding, most people don't want to work. But you have to be propagandized into it. This is propaganda. It's just like when Edward Bernays, the father of modern PR, got women to start smoking cigarettes for his customer, for his client, by connecting the smoking of cigarettes with women's lib. Just as that was unhealthy for women, this is unhealthy for women. Just as that was for the sake of someone else's profits, so is this. It's just propaganda. But don't at least tell yourself that this is good for you and you want it, just because it's what business wants for you. When women go to the workplace, they're not breaking down barriers. They are erecting barriers around themselves. And men know that because we've been in those barriers all our lives. We know what it's like to be in the workplace. We know that all of this propaganda is propaganda. It's not a wonderful thing to go out into the workforce. Women have, the domestic life of women traditionally has been a socialist utopia. Why would you leave that?
After seeing that video, I have to really reevaluate my life choices because I never thought of it this way. I also begin to realize that as a female, I need to really be careful because females are highly susceptible to propaganda.
Didn't I just say that earlier? Did I not just say that earlier?
How did we ever believe that becoming a wage slave is empowering? Being owned by a corporation. After I had my daughter, I had the privilege of being home with her for 6 months. But feminism instills within us a belief that being at home with your child or in any capacity is aligned with slavery, and that work outside of the home is freedom. I'm beginning to think I'm stupid, and I think I have a relatively decent brain. Relatively. But I'm beginning to think I'm dumb. When I was home with my baby, despite what feminism tells me, that I should have hated it, I actually loved it. Not only did I create a new little human being, but while I was home, I got to really focus on my body. I transformed myself. I had the time to do that. I also finally got the chance to write. I mean, really throw myself into my writing. I also played video games. I got to focus on my sewing. All of these things I could not do if I was outside being a debt slave. But after my 6 months was up, I had to go back to my 9 to 5. And guess what? All those fun things I didn't have time for anymore. I realize now I've been duped. I get this feeling like the emperor's new clothes. When the peddler is trying to sell something to you, they're selling you nudity and telling you it's the best outfit ever, and you step out in it and you're an absolute clown.
Yeah. I'm like, women today should feel like that. With inflation going on, women should feel like that. Y'all absolutely should feel that way. I'm like, this is the one time where I'm gonna accept a woman feeling some type of way. Real talk. Cause y'all got finessed. The ultimate finesse. And no matter how many times or how many ways men try to explain this to y'all want to call us misogynists, still blame the patriarchy. No matter what, it always circles back to us. And I find that funny because if it circles all the way back to us, then why come y'all can't accept this uncomfortable truth so that way we can come to a solution and fix it? If men can acknowledge that there's an issue and then bring you the issue and the root of the problem, why come we can't do something about it? Is it because the problem actually starts with you for a change and not the man? Because if you think I'm lying, you can just run this video back and go to the second clip of the young lady who who read off what they were what the plan was when they had that first meeting with the women's organization about feminism. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Y'all got bamboozled. Let me know what y'all thought about this, man. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hitting that bell notification. That way y'all know what I'm uploading. Hit the like button because it helps with the algorithm. It helps me reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel vlog channel, Unplugged Traveler. Link is in the description, as well as my latest mixtape, Lost Music Volume 2. And if you want to check out any of the merch, Spreadshot.com link is in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.